Hey everyone, welcome to my new studio. This piece behind me, I made a video while I painted it. This was back before we moved. I haven't had a chance to edit it or put anything together on it, but now I do have time, so I'm going to show you a video of how I created this piece behind me. This is the back of the piece. It's just a piece of scrap, some sort of scrap cheap wood that I found. So both sides look like this, and I just, the other side where the painting is, I covered it with 2 coats of gesso just to try to smooth it out some before I painted on it. And I painted it very much in the same style as this one, my previous time-lapse video. Very much the same style, so there won't be anything new there, but I'm really happy with the strange textures from this old wood. I mean, the wood really was almost I don't know, deteriorating. It was very easy to get a splinter from it. It seemed like it was falling apart. So, but I think it came out good. And I'm really happy with it, and it's always nice when you can find something to paint on that doesn't cost you any money. So anyway, here's the video. Hope you like it. Please share, like, and subscribe. Okay, so as I said, I put a couple coats of gesso on one side of the board. The board was 18 by 25 inches. And really deteriorating. Like I put the 2 coats of gesso just because, I mean, it was really just sort of, I mean, you'll see some of the textures that I get in it that were completely not my doing. It's just that the wood is so deteriorating that it's starting to crack. I don't even know if that's the word, not crack. I don't know. It was, anyway, I can't think of the word. But so you can see it's all very random. I'm just making an underlayer. This is some very watered down red. I wanted to get some drip effect. Blues and greens. In my previous video, you saw that I chose to make the figure warm in the inside. This one I figured I'd do the opposite and make it cooler colors on the inside. But just like the other one, I felt it was too warm. I had to throw some blue in. This seemed too cool, so that's why I threw the red in. But so now I'm just bringing out a simple face, as I did in the last one. Not looking for a face and just choosing to bring one out. I'm experimenting with that more and seeing what I can do with that instead of looking for faces. And then once I have it sort of sketched out, I go over with some background color just to block it in. And because the figure is a cooler color, I'm going to use warmer colors for the outside. I like the way that orange and blue look together, so I was trying to get like an orange thing going here, but I think it wasn't, the background wasn't dry enough or something. It seemed like it was getting kind of muddy, so that's why I just put like a quick layer and then gave up on it. I figured I'd go back and fix it after. And now I'm putting the highlights. as I said in the other video, I mainly do like a layer of a sort of mid-tone outlined in a dark tone and then highlighted with a lighter tone. So that's what I was trying to accomplish there with the highlights. But because of the crackling or cracking, whatever, with this deteriorating wood, I feel like the highlights didn't necessarily show out as much as they would on other ones because there was so much of the gessoed wood showing through in lines. You'll see in the end when I show a close-up of it, but there's just lines coming down the figure because the wood was, you know, so textured or splitting. Yeah, see, now I'm going back over with some, I can't remember if this was white or if it's a very light pink, but I was just trying to make it a bit lighter. I did notice when I was making my studio video the other day, the figure that I have for my studio sign, even though that figure is outlined in black like this one is, I made the background black and then fade into light away from the figure, which I don't know if I've done that very often, but it kind of grabbed me when I saw it, and I think that's something I might want to try again at some point, instead of having the figures stand out so much because they're, you know, they're outlined in black and then the background is so bright. There was something about seeing this figure that was outlined in black and then the background was black as well and then faded out into light, and it just had an interesting look. So I might have to try that on a future piece. I'm working on the eyes. As I said before, the eyes have become important to me as of late. I didn't used to worry so much about them. They used to just be, you know, as abstract as anything else. It would just be, you know, you recognize it as an eye even though it wasn't a literal eye. And then at some point I started making the eyes look more literal, and I liked the effect. It took this somewhat abstract, I mean, you know, it's supposed to be a being of some kind, but it doesn't look literal. I'm not doing realism here. But excuse me. But something about having the somewhat realistic looking eyes, it makes the piece a little bit more relatable. Like you can almost feel there's some humanity even though it doesn't look truly human, maybe. Just having my morning tea as I'm doing this here. Sometimes there seems to be long pauses where it doesn't look like a lot is happening. I feel like it took, I don't know how to describe it. Not that I necessarily took longer making this piece, but I feel like I took a lot of pauses, and I'm not really sure why. Could have been the chaos of moving. I was painting this in the week leading up to our move, so there was a lot of like, I was probably allowing for layers to dry as I went off and packed things. Yeah, because you can see that the sunlight is starting to creep onto the edge of the painting now. It was getting later in the afternoon, and I don't remember exactly when I started this, but definitely was, there's a lot of space in between here. Throwing in some red along the edges. I felt like the pinkish orange was very bright, and I just wanted something to balance out the darker tones of the figure. So here's the finished piece. You can see those lines I'm talking about there. That was all from the wood just being so deteriorated. Just these lines. But it's a really cool effect. Like, I couldn't have done that if I tried. But I hope you like it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for your support.